Hi guys, and welcome back to another video here on this channel. If you're new here, my name's Shireen and I talk all things sewing and homemaking. So if that's something you're into too, then I would love if you joined the sewing family. Now, these are one of my favourite videos ever to both watch and make. So today I'm going to be sharing with you free sewing patterns to create your perfect autumn capsule wardrobe. Now, for each of these free sewing pattern items, I have linked as well below some fabric recommendations for each of them. I will briefly run through them on screen as well, just in case you catch anything that tickles your fancy. If I had the option, I would be ordering every single one of these fabrics, but alas, probably not feasible. So yeah, I had a lot of fun sort of looking around and shopping for fabrics, which is, as you know, the most fun part. But yeah, just thought I'd add a few in there if you find any of them inspiring. And yeah, let's get on into the video. Now, starting with what I'm currently wearing. So this set of dungarees are just a ready to wear piece, but underneath I popped on this lovely ruffle sleeved top, which I absolutely love and I've had so much wear out of since I made it, which I think in 2021. So this has had a lot of wear. It's the absolute perfect length for those sort of transitional seasons. So it covers the arms, but again, just kind of shows off that lovely little bit of arm to showcase all your jewellery. Now, the sewing pattern itself is free from peppermint, so I will link that one down below if you want to check that one out too, which runs in really well with today's theme. I've made it using this lovely fabric, which is a very lightweight and breathable fabric. I believe it's 100% cotton, but I'm not 100% sure, so I will pop the details down below. But yeah, they do have this one in this colour and in a red, which I do have my eye on for this autumn season. I just think in a maxi length dress or a tiered dress, it would look just so gorgeous. So yeah, I think I'm going to purchase that one. But yeah, I absolutely love this. I just feel it's very exotic. It's very Tunisian / Moroccan style, very unique. I did actually wear this to Istanbul and I thought it was absolutely perfect. Again, just for those sort of middle temperatures where it's not quite too hot and not quite cold. I just think it looks lovely. Now, you may have spotted this me-made item behind me, which was made not using a free sewing pattern, but with the Nora cardigan, Tilly in the Buttons patterns. I will link that one down below if I can find it. I modified it to make it a maxi length coatigan style. But yeah, definitely going to be wearing this a lot more now that autumn is creeping in. I had a lot of wear out of this last year, but again, it's just that not too warm situation, but really nice and cozy. And it's made using a gorgeous jacquard textured woven fabric. Again, I will leave the fabric link down below because that one is still available. But yeah, again, another piece that I get so much wear out of, and yeah, definitely one that I'd recommend you make too, especially if it's your first time using heavier weight fabrics. I think this is a really nice, simple, straightforward pattern to get started with. So the first free sewing pattern that I'm going to be including in this video is this lovely short-sleeved cardigan. And what I absolutely love about this design is the pleated puff sleeve style. Again, because it's not quite full on winter, I think this short-sleeved version is just absolutely perfect for the weather. Now, the other detail that I absolutely love on this is the V-neck. Now, it's very in style at the moment to have that almost plunging V neckline in order to showcase the décolletage and accessorise with lovely long pendants. It's so flattering. Just paired with a simple pair of jeans and boots, I think this would work perfectly. Now, you can see from the images that they've actually covered the buttons in the same fabric, but I actually think I would want to take it with a little bit of a vintage twist and add some vintage gold buttons, but completely down to personal taste. Either way, I think this is a really, really great pattern, especially if you have fabrics in your stash that are a little bit heavier weight and knitted in nature, and maybe you haven't found that perfect project for it just yet, but I think this is definitely the one. Now, I found a few fun fabrics to use with this one. I think my favourite has to be this really fluffy, stripy, knitted fabric. I mean, I think I might even order it because it just looks so cosy. I think the colours of the stripes is just quite neutral, which just means it can go with absolutely anything. but it has enough character in there to kind of stand out and be a statement piece in your outfit. Now, the other more bold fabric option that I found were these lovely knitted orange graphic styled. Now, I don't know if I'm bold enough to pull that off, but I absolutely love this fabric and it looks absolutely gorgeous, and I just know one of you guys out there would be able to pull this off really, really well. I think if you're looking for that really special bold piece in your wardrobe, I think this is definitely a fabric to consider. Now, the last fabric recommendation of this one is this lovely faux embroidered fabric. Now, I must say it's sunflowers in this one that completely got me on this one, because it's just so summer autumn vibes, that kind of transition. And I mean, I love embroidery, but I just don't have the time for it. So having this faux design, I think just looks so, so beautiful. And I think with this style of cardigan, it goes really, really well. So yeah, those are my top picks fabric-wise for the unfettered short-sleeved cardigan. Now, free sewing pattern number 2 is this really lovely puff-sleeved styled top by Tiana's Closet. Now, this top and puff sleeve combination has been the absolute Instagrammable top of the season. They've been all over Instagram, and the fact that this is free is just absolutely mind-blowing. I love the detail of this. I love the square neckline. I think it's super flattering, but the puff sleeves just give a little bit of oomph on what would otherwise be a really simple top. And I think again, it's one of these pieces that would just go with absolutely everything. Now, my temptation would be to make this into a dress, and I do have a black broderie anglais fabric that I would like to make this from, so that's definitely on my list to make. But I also think this would look really nice in a gingham, and I did find a lot of really fun autumnal graphic printed cotton fabrics, which I'll pop on screen. Again, I don't think this is for everyone, but I do really love the autumnal print on the brown background here, and also the mustard coloured print. And because the graphics are quite small on this, I feel that from afar you maybe wouldn't be able to see the details, but up close you can see all the autumnal fun details on it, which I think is just so special and so unique. And if you're not into those graphics, then there's some really lovely florals and acorn styled patterned prints as well. One in this lovely sage colour and the other in the mustard. Now, it does have a shared back detailing. Now, shirring is not my favourite thing to do. It can be if I'm in the right mood, but not always. And I'm kind of tempted on my version of the dress to do almost a crossover lace back detail, which I think would look really, really lovely, and just be a little bit simpler to execute and probably faster. So yeah, there's lots of different variations on this that you can consider, but yeah, really, really love this design. I've seen lots of dresses out there in places like Oliver Bonus with the same styled sleeve, so this is an absolute steal and you can really make it your own. Sewing pattern number 3 is this lovely water style jacket slash cardigan. Now, I absolutely love the waterfall style. I think it's super flattering, and if you're like me that's quite big busted and you don't necessarily want it to show, this waterfall style jacket just drifts over everything and it just makes you feel super elegant, and it's just the perfect addition over your outfit if it's a little bit chilly during the day or in the evenings. I do have a ready to wear piece in a similar style to this, and I would really recommend adding one of these to your autumn wardrobe if you haven't got one already. Obviously, you can really play with the length of this and the style of this. I think the only thing that I would do differently from the image is I probably would make the sleeves a little bit more fitted if it was a stretchy fabric that I was working with, because I do think they look a little bit baggy on the image. However, I just really love this. I think it's super cozy. You could even make it oversized with a really woolly fabric, and it would just be the best thing to snuggle up in. So I found a few really lovely fabrics. First of all is this almost knitted sweater fabric. It really looks like it's been knitted. It comes with lots of different colours, but I do really like this olive tone. I think it's really, really beautiful and complements most colours. Me being a country girl nowadays, I think again this sort of khaki green, it just works perfectly for outings and walks in the countryside. And I think with this fabric, it's just very cozy. You could easily make it into kind of a loungewear piece, and again, it's super warm and insulating. Or like this other fabric, you can choose to do something a little bit more neutral. I just love the texture of this fabric. Completely plain, would go with so many different things, but just has a little bit of character because of the jacquard style prints running throughout the fabric, and again just looks so soft and so warm. And the other option, if you don't want something so warm and you want something a little bit more smart, and if you've got a cat like me, something a little bit less fur attracting, then I would definitely say it's worth trying out this stretch crepe fabric. It has a lovely texture to it, and because of the weight of it, it would just hang beautifully at the front if you just want that super elegant style. The next free sewing pattern that I'm going to be sharing with you is a really lovely elevated t-shirt. Now, I find so many free sewing patterns of really simple t-shirts, but I never find any with any interesting details, and I really think this one is perfect if you have a lot of jersey in your stash, for example, and you just do not know what to do with it. Now, this next piece is called the Miranda Gathered t-shirt, and as you can see, it has an absolutely lovely ruched detail along the neck area, and I just think this is just so unique, has a lot more shape, very fitted. You could also do this in just a very plain fabric just to create a really simple tee like they have in the image of a simple white t-shirt. However, I do think you can get really quite creative with this. I found these lovely autumnal prints, one in this lovely dark green shade with little deers on them, and I think again because it's very small details, it's not super in your face, and it's something that you could still wear in other seasons too. But again, just a lovely sewing pattern to really experiment with jerseys if you haven't done as much before. I think this would be probably a little bit more for intermediate stage. If you're very new to sewing jerseys, I probably would say this is not the best one to start with. However, if you're up for a challenge, then by all means definitely get stuck in and give it a go. Now, my personal fabric favourite for this option, and one that I'm actually considering to make myself, is this lovely fabric here, which has a lovely beige background but also has these lovely autumnal colours running through, and because the leaves are very generic, they're not too suited only for autumn specifically, and again it's something you could wear all year round regardless of the season. Now, moving on to the bottom half, this one is a lovely skirt. It's called the Susie skirt, and it's an asymmetrical tiered design skirt, and I do have a ready to wear piece in my wardrobe, and I do get a lot of wear out of it in the winter because it just pairs perfectly with a sweater, a really chunky knit, and again you can just throw on some boots underneath and put really thick ties and no one knows what you're wearing underneath. So it's a great addition to any autumn wardrobe. I do feel the way this flows, it probably does work best with chiffon, but again I do think viscose could work too, but you want something really quite light and airy, something that's going to drape and really flow as you're walking. Now, for the level of detail in the sewing pattern, I'm actually really impressed that it's completely free. Now, I found this lovely chiffon fabric, and I thought this would work really well for this skirt because you do have the tones of grey that kind of go into sort of the autumn and winter season, but you have these really lovely bright pops of colour in the flowers, which just means you also could wear it during the summer months. But yeah, really love this one. Again, if you're using chiffon, I probably would say this is a more sort of intermediate advanced pattern to do, but again, really lovely design, and if you want to give a go at beginner, then maybe trying with a viscose could work really well too. Now, moving on to dresses, and this one is a really lovely swing dress. Now, again, a really perfect pattern for jersey fabrics if you're looking for a project for that. I do think it probably requires a lot of meterage because the bodice and the bottom of the skirt seems to be one continuous length. However, I do think this looks super flattering. Again, because the fabric is all in one, it just skims over the stomach area really nicely. Because it has a lot of swing at the bottom, I just think it's just one of those dresses that you can really swish around in and feel really good. But it has a really lovely modest sleeve just above the elbow, just to give that coverage, keep you warm, and also feel really elegant and stylish as well. Now, a few fabrics that I found, one was this really fun, colourful, floral design with a blue background, and I just think this is so fun. Again, perfect for any season, and if you're just into lots of colour, I think this on this dress would just work perfectly. Because there's not too many seams and not many cuts along the fabric, I think this fabric would be done justice with this sewing pattern. I also found this really lovely beige jersey as well. Again, something that you could wear all year round. It does have some really beautiful autumnal colours in there, but of flowers from late summer, things like, I think they're hydrangeas and poppies. But again, tying in the summer along with the autumn, and again, just being a dress with slightly covered arms just means that it would be really comfortable, insulating, and versatile piece in your wardrobe. This last fabric also, it has a little bit of a beige background, but it has a little bit more brown in the floral prints and a little bit more smaller prints of flowers. Again, I think this would work really, really lovely if you just don't want too much focus on the fabric itself. But again, really stylish, really elegant, and just go. You know, this will just go with absolutely everything and will just look really beautiful with long brown boots and some tights. I think this would look absolutely stunning. Now, Tiana's closet just seems to be absolutely killing it recently. They just have some really great free sewing patterns. Now, this next one is just such a lovely, beautiful classic piece. It's just something that you could really make from a plain fabric, and there's just so many beautiful details on it that it would just look stunning just the way it is. It has this really delicate 3/4 length puff sleeve, and it kind of has that baby style design where it's kind of straight here and the gatherings start from quite high up. But again, something that kind of drifts over the tummy area and just feels really light and flowy. It has a lovely tie detail around the neck with a lovely subtle V-neck. Again, perfect for showing off little pieces of jewellery with pendants. I just think this would look really, really lovely. Now, I think this just could be made in so many different fabrics, from linen to double gauze. I did find some really fun cotton prints though that I think would work really well for this season. So I'll pop a few up on the screen, but I think my favourite has to be this lovely beige background cotton that has really small, dainty graphics relating to autumn. Things like little pumpkins and little mushrooms. And again, because the print is not huge, it's really not out there, but it just has this little element of detail that I think is just super, super fun. I think again, this just works really well even with a plain beige or cream fabric or a brown fabric, and would just look perfect with a pair of jeans. Now, this is something I'm definitely going to be making. I think this top is absolutely stunning, and I actually can't believe it's free. Definitely one that I'm going to be adding to my list of things to make. Now, we may be too early to talk about coats. However, I think this one is an exception. It kind of is a cross between a coat and a jacket, and kind of gives me the shacket vibes. I do also think that using the right fabric, this could really work for both for autumn and winter, but it's the Marit coat, and I just think this looks absolutely beautiful. There's a lovely length, very simple, has a lovely collared detail. Now, I've not really made a proper coat before other than this sort of cardigan style. I've never really done anything a little bit more heavyweight, but I think with this being a more simple design, I think this is a really perfect one if you haven't made a coat before. It has lovely invisible pockets, which I just absolutely love. And again, you could really go bold with the buttons, and you can really make it your own with the length. I would probably keep it with the length that's on there, but you could definitely make it in sort of midi or maxi length, or even make it into a shorter waistline coat. I'd also be quite tempted to make sort of a cropped version. I've seen a lot of jackets on the runway where they kind of stop at the waist, and I do think it looks very flattering. With the right fabric, I think it could look really, really good. Now, I found a couple of wool fabric pieces, one being this lovely checkered, kind of houndstooth styled green wool, and I just absolutely love it. It's not too bold, and again, it's just a colour that would go with so many different outfits. I'm not into loud, colourful jackets, mainly because I like my jackets to be versatile with everything that I do wear. I feel like it's a bit of a shame to have a one-off jacket that you can only wear with one thing. So I do like to choose colours that are a little bit more muted and a little bit more versatile. And this green as well, especially for my lifestyle in the countryside, I think would look really, really lovely. But I also did find this lovely orange tartan checkered style print, which I think looks absolutely stunning. Again, don't think I'm bold enough to pull it off, but I do think this would look really, really good with this jacket. Now, I also found this really lovely peplum shirt, which I just think looks so simple yet so elegant. And I think it just creates a really beautiful hourglass shape. And I think even just using the most subtle fabrics, you can create a really lovely silhouette. Now, I do have a sewing pattern in my stash for this one, which I feel is still available, so I will link it down below if I can find it. If you're not really into the printing and sticking and all that jazz, then there is a similar one that I will pop down below. But yeah, I thought you could go really fun with this. Again, I popped a few fabric recommendations down below, but I think my favourite has to be this lovely autumnal leaf print with the lovely turquoisey teal background. I think it's just so fun. But again, I do think you could really tone it down. Even with the simple black, I think this will look really lovely. Now, going into autumn, I think we all need that perfect everyday dress. And what's better than this lovely everyday dress that has a really beautiful cinched in elasticated waist, perfect just to get really comfortable and cozy, and has this really lovely almost half sleeve that again creates a little bit more of a silhouette. And again, because of the simplicity of this design, I just feel you could get really creative with the fabric. From anything from a cotton to a viscose, I think this would just be the perfect everyday dress. If you wanted to do something really different, I think this with sort of a cable knit style fabric would also work really well. So paired with tights and a belt, I think this just looks absolutely gorgeous. My other favourite is this retro styled teal and I want to say orangey brown fabric that again, super versatile, can wear it all year round. Spring, summer, winter, you name it, would work really perfectly. Again, if you really want to go all autumnal, there's this really lovely pumpkin print with a white background. Again, super adorable, and paired with some brown boots would just pick out the colours of the pumpkins beautifully. Now, this next piece is called the Gracie dress. Now, I've actually made this one already and absolutely love it. I've actually got a Sew With Me video on this channel, so I will link that one down below if you're interested. But yeah, I really loved making this one. I think the only alteration that I would probably make on this is just the placement of where I put the buttons, which I don't think I followed the instructions of the actual sewing pattern on that, so completely my fault. But yeah, I really love this. I made it using this lovely orange needle cord fabric, which I took it to the pumpkin patch and it was absolutely perfect. But I do think this dress would look absolutely stunning in a linen, whether plain or patterned. I think this would work really well. Now, this one is available in a lot of different colours, which I think is absolutely great, but I think my favourite for the season especially is the mustard colour. I also found a really lovely linen fabric in this lovely beige colour with little leaves on. Again, really small and dainty, but again, just really adorable. Now, you can also make this one with a belt. I chose not to do a belt on my little dress. I kind of made mine into a bit more of a pinafore style, so it was a little bit shorter than the pattern. So I would definitely be willing to make it again, but a little bit longer with a belt, because I think that would also look really good. And I would actually maybe think about making it with sleeves, because I think, apologies, my battery died, so my alignment may be a little bit different to before, but yes, anyway, as I'm saying, I would really love this dress with a puff sleeve detail. I think also would look really lovely. Now, I know we love dresses, and maxi dresses are definitely coming back this season. I have spoken about this dress before, but it's one that I love just so much, and it's still on my list to make, that I needed to show you this one again. It's this lovely tiered maxi length dress. I even love the choice of fabric that they've used for this one, and it's the number 93 from Untitled, and I absolutely love this. Again, I just think it's one of these dresses that you could even put a black polo neck underneath along with boots and a chunky belt, and I think it just would look so lovely, yet looking super stylish, super warm and super weather appropriate. Now, I also found this lovely leopard style fabric in a mustard colour. Now, I do love mustard and I think it works perfectly for this season, and again, something that would still work for the summer months as well. So yeah, this one definitely is a very firm favourite of mine. Now, no autumn capsule wardrobe is complete without turtleneck. Now, this is the Monroe turtleneck top, and again, just really quite simple, something that you just need in your wardrobe. Now, this one is a little bit more unique because it has a lovely dropped shoulder style, which just allows it to be a little bit more casual, but I just love the detailing on the neck. I love something very fitted, and again, this is just a perfect sewing pattern if you're looking for a way to use your lovely jersey in your stash. You can make this super simple, completely plain, just as a general staple to put under everything, but you could also go really quite fun. I found this lovely burnt orange style ditzy floral print, and I'm really tempted to make this one because I do have a green floral turtleneck in my stash that I use so much every single year, and the fact that it being jersey just makes it that much more warm and insulating. and again something you could really throw underneath a pinafore or a set of dungarees like this, and again I just think it works really well. I also think it would work really well with this really simple plain ribbed mustard colour. Again, if you want a little bit more pop of colour, then this is a great one. You could go for a plain black or a white or a grey or a brown if you really want that piece to kind of go with everything. So yeah, do check out that link down below because there are a few different colours that's available in that one. I think works really well for this sewing pattern. Now the penultimate free sewing pattern is this lovely jacket, which again I think just works really perfectly for this transitional season. And what I really love about this sewing pattern in particular is the lapel. I think the lapel is just such a unique shape and design, and if you're someone like me who I don't have a particularly long neck, and so I do find if you have too much of a lapel I just kind of look like my neck has disappeared. So I think having a shape like this just again really accentuates the neckline, again caters for any jewellery that you have, any long pendants, but doesn't quite block out your neck area if you've got quite a small neck like I have. So I think this is really lovely. It has lovely cozy looking pockets, and I kind of want to say that the sleeves look a little bit like a princess sleeve because it's a little bit longer than 3/4 length, but it's just short enough to kind of show off your jewellery, things like your watch and your little bracelets that you might be wearing. And again, I think you could just be really quite creative with the fabrics that you use. I really loved this checkered tartan fabric, again because I do like my neutrals, but it still gives a nod to that autumnal colour with the hints of orange and browns, but again not leaning too warm so it can go for other seasons as well. I also found this really lovely satiny style jacquard fabric which just has a really lovely shine to it. If you really want to go bold with this one, then I think this fabric would work really well for it too. I just love the floral print, and again the burnt orange / brown colour in the background just ties in perfectly for the season. Now this next sewing pattern is kind of a wild card because although it does work perfectly for autumn, it's a little bit more of an active wear sort of make. It's the diner yoga style pants. Now I don't know about you, but I love to wear yoga wear just around the house as loungewear, so I think this would be really cozy. But if you're looking for a challenge and you don't want to spend lots of money on active wear sewing patterns just yet until you've kind of finessed the art of working the fabric, then I think this one works really well. It has a really lovely triangular waistband which I think is super flattering, and again has a really lovely gradual flare towards the bottom. I think using a super soft, almost brushed feel stretch jersey fabric would work lovely, or you could use activewear fabric as well if you want that more professional finish. But that's all for this video. I hope you guys really enjoyed. I mean, I love making these videos, I love watching them, and I just feel so inspired when I see these. So I hope this has inspired you too. If it has, then I would love if you hit the like button. Let me know which sewing patterns you're going to try. If you want to see some more of my free sewing pattern videos, I will put a playlist up here. And if you want to have a look at some of my hauls or vlogs, then I will leave a couple of different options down here for you to check out too. But guys, I love you so much. Thanks for being here, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.